If you could change any choices you have ever made, would you? You can always make another choice and change the course of your success. Everyone has the potency to make inspired choices. Get ready to listen, share, and experience the creativity that is you. Now, here is the host of Inspired Choices radio show, holographist coach, Christine McIver.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Welcome, 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 everyone. I'm so happy it is showtime again. How many people out there get excited when it's their showtime? Well, we here at Inspired Choices, and especially on my radio show, Inspired Choices Network, love to get excited about what we're creating. We are creating so many things, and we've had some fabulous shows most recently, and we've got another fabulous show coming up tonight. I have an amazing guest, Jesse Patrick, and we're going to be talking about Let the Pages Burn. I have no idea where this is going to go, but hey, it's going to go somewhere amazing. That I absolutely know. So most recently, the last radio show that we had was Your Asking is Your Alchemy. So how many people had the opportunity to check that out and really lean into knowing that you have the power to create what it is that you desire, and it all begins with your ask. So before we get into the show tonight, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I am a holographist coach, and what the hell is that? A lot of people ask that. Well, here's what it is. You have a dream. You have a desire. We all do. And most of us talk about it as in the future. Well, when you're working with me, we create it in the now. We step into your hologram of your desires here and now, and we create whatever's required for you to be living it, experiencing it, and absolutely receiving from it. I work with people one-on-one. I do in person. I do over the internet, through Zoom calls, through Skype, whatever's required. I also work with organizations to really move things forward. You know, the energy of what's happening in the world right now is a lot of people stepping up and a lot of people offering a lot of different things. I'm not going to sell you a package. I'm going to lean into you and give you tools that you and I can utilize to create what it is you desire. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, or you just want to check out more, you can book a 30-minute complimentary session with me. You can do that through my website, inspiredchoices.ca, and we can connect, maybe just get to know each other a little bit and see what would actually work for you. So let's dive into tonight. I'm really excited about tonight's show. I have a fabulous guest, Jesse Patrick. Jesse and I are going to be talking about Let the Pages Burn. Follow your dream. Do whatever it takes. Push yourself. Choose for you. The time is now. Jesse Patrick is an emerging Canadian singer-songwriter, rapper, and musician. He was born in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, which is in Canada, if you don't know, and he was exposed to music at a very young age from his parents. At age 11, he started to play the trumpet. That was my first instrument too, Jesse. He played in multiple cities, in all city youth jazz and classical bands. At the age of 12, his dad exposed him to Jimi Hendrix Experience, inspiring Jesse to learn the guitar. And Jesse made extra money as a teenage busking, freestyling, rap battling, and partaking in cyber sessions in the north end of his hometown, which is known as the Darkside. Over the years, Jesse has performed and recorded with many different artists, such as Paul Lamb from Crush, April Wine, Stacey James and the Kick, the Mellotones, and many, many more. Music wasn't always Jesse's priority, though. He became involved with different, quote-unquote, crews back home, exposing himself to a hustler's way of life and criminal activity. Jesse, since his last run-ins with the law, Jesse has done public speaking about this part of his life and has been proactive in trying to educate in the real world repercussions of this way of life and spread positivity through music. Jesse is currently writing and recording his first solo album, Tales Around the BurnBarrel. It's set to release in 2020, which is inspired by the night Jesse decided to leave Dartmouth behind and find his own path. What a cool bio. And wow, it just makes me want to lean in. Welcome to the show, Jesse.
Oh, thanks for having me, Christine. I really appreciate it. We're all set, eh?
we're all set. So I got to tell everybody this story because I was thinking about this a little before we started tonight, and I'm like, okay, this show. How did we come together? Two Canadians, a Trini, and the Bahamas. That's how you and I met.
Right? That's pretty crazy. I mean, the whole doing this little mini tour in the Bahamas just started as I was in a band called New Jack Break at the time, and we were doing some funk music out here. Shout out to Anthony Manuel, Lachlan Cowan, and all the people that played alongside with us. And talking about just filming some music videos out there. In the month of November, I think we did like 18 shows alone, and just getting a little burnt out from like trying to do the hustle and grind, and just trying to get our name out there as a very new, emerging, but growing rapidly and popular band. So we had said that we were going to do this trip down to the Bahamas, and then when Anthony had decided that he had a different path that he needed to proceed and take, I proceeded with the plans. I called my videographer and promoter, Thomas Bomber. He owns Royalties Clothing. He's one of my sponsors. Thomas, if you're listening, Trip, what's up, brother? Love you. Bahamas misses you. And, we ended up down there. We shot 3 music videos. We played like 6 shows, a bunch of bonfire shows. We met everyone who was everyone. We got to go to the red carpet gala down there for the Elevation Music Awards. And it was just the most amazing time. So it was super awesome that I got to play at this little place on the Monday open mic called Travelers West. If you're ever down in the Bahamas, go check this place out. It's so much fun. They have so many talented artists that go and jam there, and that's how this whole thing started. It's kind of crazy.
So bizarre.
How it
so how long were you down there for?
We were down there for a total of 10 days. We went down just to shoot music videos, and I'm a pretty like just ambitious person in general, and just thought through the magic of social media, let's see if they've got some Bahamas music pages. Let's just see if we can connect before we go down. And soon enough, we're meeting with Tim Daniels and Gary Clark, or not Gary Clark, oh my God, Gary and Charo and Maz, and everyone was just ready to meet up and meet a Canadian artist that's just trying to get their name out there. And I was super inspired after leaving for sure. So it was great.
That's awesome. Yeah. So I was down there for 3 weeks. I left on the Wednesday, and it was the following Monday that you ended up at Travelers. And I was, of course, at Travelers because my man is one of the owners of Travelers. And
yes.
And so I'm checking out the open mic. I think it was the first big open mic that they did. And you were doing a live video for the entire, I think I watched your live video for well over an hour, watching, really experiencing being there without being there. And I'm like, I got to reach out to this guy. So that's how
that's awesome.
Started, right? So I got to know you from the back of your phone, I think you maybe say. and I got to see what you were
That's pretty
seeing.
well what it was too.
Yeah, it was so cool.
A wild event. We had a ton of fun, and me and Trip are like very big personalities. We like to wild out, have a good time. He earned his nickname down there, Turned Up Thomas, for accepting the challenge at Studios Cafe on how many mimosas we could drink in 2 hours for $20. We drank 6 bottles of champagne that day, and I was playing 2 sets that day too, so it made for an interesting show.
Talk about
by the end of it, they were just bringing us mimosas they were just bringing us mimosas and pitchers.
Oh, Lord. Well, I'm glad you had a wonderful time, and I'm glad that we had the connection, even though we haven't physically met in person, but both Canadians experiencing something amazing in the Bahamas. And so Absolutely. Here we are tonight talking with you about your music. So Jesse, kind of, we talked, in your bio, kind of talked a little bit about you and all of, your experience and going forward and so on. But give us a real sense of what it was like for you in Canada as a young person who's being exposed to music.
Well, I mean, it all starts back home in Dartmouth. I mean, my mom, she played it. Well, she was a singer in a band called Maritime Express. My dad had a band in Winnipeg, well, just outside of Winnipeg, called Titless Willie. They were kind of like a rock cover band. Yeah, that's what I thought too. And, so music's always been a thing in my house, right? Like growing up,
right.
My mom used to make me sit down and watch CMT until, my ears bled. I grew up on Travis Tritt and Tanya Tucker and all that. And then kind of when I got a little bit older, Dad kind of started introducing me to like the Beatles and, the big one being Jimi Hendrix. Like that just completely blew my mind when I first heard Jimi Hendrix Experience on vinyl. Just
really,
absolutely like changed my life. So that's really when I became inspired to, my dad was always playing guitar, and he tells me when I was like, really little, I used to sneak into his room and start strumming the guitar. And even though I had no idea what I was doing, apparently it was musical. So it's always been there. My mom's side of the family, all my uncles played in bands. My uncle Steve had a bluegrass band in Edmonton, and my grandfather was a trumpet player. Like it's a long line of musicians. Though my sister doesn't really play instruments, she was actually a dance choreographer, and she danced at the Joseph Wallen School of Dance. Right, he's pretty famous in the dance community. So it's just always been around.
And just everyone is naturally inspired with the arts. There's arts flowing through your veins.
Absolutely, and I mean for me, it was just hearing that distorted electric guitar for the first time and hearing all those pitch squealies and all the crazy stuff that Jimi Hendrix did before anyone else realized what was even happening, right? I just wanted to be loud and obnoxious.
All right. Well, I'm glad you know what you wanted to be. Fabulous. So tell me something. When you were involved in music, you were doing bands, you were doing rapping, and then you started to take an interesting turn. You started to get in trouble with the law.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when I first started, I shouldn't even say writing lyrics and stuff. I never used to write lyrics. I used to in high school, like rap battling became a big thing. BET was showing the Freestyle Fridays and stuff like that, and we started kind of doing that within the schools. And then we started actually taking it out into the streets, and with that, like I got really into the hip hop community back home. Did some rap battles back home, like on camera. Wasn't really a good thing. I wasn't ready at that time to be performing and at the level that I needed to be in. But yeah, like I used to just like freestyle. I remember specifically doing a session with a gentleman named Quake Matthews in Halifax. You can look him up everywhere. He is a fire hip hop artist. And same thing, I'd be sitting there like beatboxing on the library stairs with him and with a few other people, and he'd be rapping to whoever was walking by. I remember there was like a cute girl walking by in a McDonald's uniform, followed her down the street rapping to her. So it just, yeah. And with that, with the hip hop community, there's always it comes with a different kind of struggles, and you meet people from all different walks of life, and just kind of steered me into a little bit of a different direction for a little while. Just trying to fit in and be cool, and not realizing that I wasn't being my true self, you know what I mean? And that's such a big thing to me, is trying to always stay as real and humble as possible. So for a little while I just kind of lost sight of that.
Mm-hmm. And now you speak to people. Do you go into schools and groups to speak to teenagers and high school kids about that?
Yeah, I've done a few with that, like just because it seems to be a high school, like that's where you start to really forge the path. So I've definitely done some of that. And I've been involved with a a few youth mentoring concerts for bands that they're just in high school, they're a bunch of kids and just want to play music, and go in and giving them some advice and what to stay away from. That's run through Madison Stellar. You can pretty well find her anywhere. She's in a band called Life Like Fire. They're amazing musicians. They're actually on tour across Canada right now. So if you hit their website, you can find them as well. And
Nice.
So just wherever I get a chance to youth mentor or whatever, I try and take those opportunities.
That's fabulous. That's fabulous. Well, can't believe it. We're already up to the first break, Jesse. So when we get back, we've got a special surprise for everyone, something that Jesse is sharing with us tonight, and you don't want to miss it. If you've got questions, if you'd like to ask Jesse or just shout out, you know what, you can give us a call. You can call in the U.S. 815-880-8255 or Canada 613-800-8736, or you can Skype us, Inspired Choices Network, and come on over and play with us in the chat room. You can message Jesse right there, and we have a lot of fun there. But until we get back, don't go anywhere, because you're not going to want to miss this surprise. All right, everyone, you're listening to Inspired Choices with myself, Christine McIver. Tonight, Let the Pages Burn with Jesse Patrick. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices Radio Show with holographist coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices Radio Show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Inspired Choices Radio Show with holographist coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
All right, everybody. Thank you for sticking around and tuning in tonight. We have Jesse Patrick, none other than Jesse Patrick, I should actually say, musician who is changing the world, whether it's Canada, the Bahamas, or anywhere in between. That's good, man. Blush. Take it. Receive it. It's true. You're doing amazing things. It's so exciting to have you on here with us. Jesse, right before the show, I saw this, and I wanted to read it on the show, and I wanted your take on it. Music is a moral law. It gives a soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to the imagination, a charm to sadness, and life to everything. It is the essence of order and leads to all that is good, just, and beautiful, of which it is the invisible, but nevertheless dazzling, passionate, and eternal form. That's from Plato.
I like it. Mind blown emoji. That's some serious mushroom trip enlightenment there. I love it. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I don't know what else to really say about that, to be honest. For me, like I can only speak personally, like how music completely, alter my moods, my egos, whatever I'm feeling that day. So it is. It's law. Like sometimes it's everything. It's like breathing. So I mean, that's a really cool quote. I like that. I've never read that one before. That's neat.
Yeah, it really stopped me in my tracks, and interestingly enough, popped up just before our call tonight. So how cool is that?
Yeah, absolutely.
What I have found with musicians is there's two kind of musicians. This is my personal take. That has nothing to do with maybe what's true out there, but I've seen that there's two different types of musicians in the world. There's musicians in the world that want to be famous for famous sake. And there's musicians in the world that want to be absolutely, totally, engrossed in music and be famous in the world.
Right.
That it's just like that quote. It's like it's a law within them. They can't not do it. It's completely. It's just their whole soul, like Keisha says. It really is that. Have you found, Jesse, or have you found that that's you, or have you ever found yourself trying to pull away? I mean, you must have had difficult times, kind of breaking through some barriers with getting your music out there. Have you?
Absolutely. I mean, like in, my later teen years and my early 20s, when I was kind of at the peak of what I'll say my party reputation of trying to steal pirate ships from Halifax Harbor. Like at that time, all I focused on is what people saw that I was doing, and like music I stopped playing guitar for quite some time, actually, barely picking it up, because all I wanted to do was rap. That's all I wanted to do, and get in trouble and make money and cause ruckus everywhere that I went, right? So I mean, I think we all hit a period where something just takes over and music kind of takes the back seat for a little while, but somehow it always ends up being your front seat driver again. You know what I mean? Like driving to wherever you need to get, especially like for me, like music is literally in my DNA. You know what I mean? So it's a big part of who I am, and it's a big part of my personality. So when I'm doing music or when I'm listening to music, it completely alters however I'm feeling or what I'm doing or how I'm reacting to a certain situation, depending on what I've listened to that day. So I mean, for sure. And there's lots of days where you're broke and you're sitting in your house and you're ordering Domino's pizza for the 8th time this week because that's all you can do. And it's a heartbreaking industry. People aren't really trying to help you out. Like people support you, and but it's funny. Like once you start growing in the industry, like the more you grow, the more people try and bring you down. And some days, if you have a shit show or if things just aren't going well and you just don't feel up to it, like it completely changes. I've had some shows that were just terrible because I was having a bad day, and when you're having a show and you're expected to put on, you're only as good as your last show too, and it gets very degrading if you have a bad show, because it's what you hear about. It's kind of like TripAdvisor and Yelp. When you go on a dining experience, people have no problem saying all the bad stuff they think, but they don't really go to their way to say the good stuff, and that's I try and be the opposite of that as much as possible. Take every opportunity, and I've reached a point where I'm doing okay, financially, like doing music and traveling and having as much fun as you possibly can, right? And there's days that you kind of have to eat that pay to get the exposure, or just jump on that opportunity that you may just not want to do, but it'll be good for you later in the background or in the long run. You know what I mean? It's funny how it all kind of plays. People support each other, but they're always like, I find in the music industry, they'll support you as long as you're supporting them, and that's not everyone. It's just a generalization. I don't want people to think that there's not really good people in this industry because, like, I mean, for example, this show and being offered to talk and talk about what's going on, like that wouldn't have happened if I didn't go down to the Bahamas and put on a show. And, we paid for that trip out of our pocket, and it was great because we met so many people, and then we ended up with a bunch of paid gigs, and basically we broke even, right? Like, so I mean, for me, like that in itself was just worth it, to have that life experience, come back with a new mindset and a bunch of new stories and new friends and fans and faces, and that, like, you just got to take the good with the bad. It's all perspective.
Something was said on one of the radio shows today. It was actually Lindy Chafin's start. She has a show called Unstoppable, and she's actually our marketing guru. And she was going through 10 steps that she wished she knew before she started her business. And this is one that's popping in my mind that I think that that I want to gift to you. And the one thing she said that she gifted to me that I'm sharing with everyone now is, it will always get better. It always gets better. And and so hold on to that, everyone listening, hold on to that. When you're in those tough times, when you're eating Domino's for the 8th time, hold on to that, because it will. It will. We just keep seeing what's not great, and we're missing, kind of looking in the rear view a little bit to get a little checkup from the neck up, as I say. It's like, you know what, get with the reality here. Look at where you were and look at where you are. And yeah, you may not be where you want to be, but you're sure as hell not where you were. And
absolutely. And if you're not grinding for it, you're not going to get it. No one's going to give it to you either.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, like I said, there's months where I'm playing 18, 20 shows, sometimes 2 shows a day, like just to keep out there and keep relevant, like, don't expect someone to give it to you either. We're in a world where there's so much talent now, and it's so easily accessible via YouTube, especially music, like things like Spotify and like Google Play, iTunes. They make it accessible for anybody to put music out. It's not like record labels are scouting anymore. You know what I'm saying? And that's the other part to that. Like, yeah, it's gonna get better, but if you don't think it's gonna get better, if you don't believe it, why should anyone else? It's also your own mentality. You are your own worst enemy when you're trying to move forward. I learned that the hard way myself. That you gotta give it. No one's gonna get it.
That's right. Okay, now speaking of giving it, we're going to give something fabulous. I want you to give us a little bit about what we're about to play. So the song that we're about to play, written and sung and played by yourself, Jesse Patrick, the song is called Falling Into Me.
Yes.
Set it up for us, Jesse.
Fall Into Me. This was actually one of my first songs that I got some national radio play. I released it probably 5 years ago now, but I am working on a re-release for it. Just as I've grown musically since then and moved on and developed. And this song comes from kind of a funny place where I was in a band in Lloydminster called Uncrowned Kings. And just before that, I was seeing somebody that, they left me for the bassist of that band. And then, she wanted to come back, and then I took her back, and then she left again. And then what ended up happening was the guitarist from this band had to leave, and they had a show with April Wine coming up. So I was brought in as the replacement guitarist, and then when that happened, the bassist quit. So we were looking for a bassist on last minute notice. Yeah, it was an absolutely bonkers time. And, we were juggling back and forth, and I was going through, the worst heartbreak twice in my life at the time. And, the song Fall Into Me is all about literally just choosing your path. Like, if you want to be with me, and if not, fuck off. It's, like to kind of put it in those blunt terms, but it's like when you're left on the string for X amount of time, right? Like, you always reach that point. It's like, look, like, I'm invested in this, I've already fallen for you. It's your turn to make that step. And So, I mean, it all worked out in this case, you know. We ended up not together. Actually, we reconciled our differences recently, and, you know, like I will always hope the best for her and hope that she's well in life. And, you know, I got a great song out of it, and then I got to play with April Wine 2 weeks later, so I won.
Wow. Yeah, damn straight. Okay, sit back, everybody. Enjoy this amazing song, Fall Into Me, Jesse Patrick.
I'm head over heels, falling to you. I want you to take a final step, fall into me. 'Cause I know I'm close to that edge, and if I take one more step, head over heels, fall into you. I want you to take a final step, fall into me. Yeah, fall into me.
I've been playing it all day, Jesse.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. Yeah, everybody in the chat room is loving it as well. What a gift to all of our listeners that can listen to and replay that over and over again. Jesse, it's fabulous, and you're telling me that you've remixed this. You put so much heart into that. How much do your experiences, your real life experiences, actually contribute to the artist that you are becoming?
Well, I mean, 100%. I'm not a person that likes to sing or rap or write about anything that I haven't really experienced in real life. You know, I'm a true believer of if you don't have conviction in what you're doing, then why should anybody else believe it? You know what I mean? Like if it's not believable to you, it's not going to be believable to them. Perception is everything, and I just find it's easier. Like, you know, I've sang songs that, you know, that are meaningless. You know, they're just dancey, clubby songs that get the room going, right? But, you know, when it comes to my own music, it needs to be true and authentic, 100%.
That's fabulous. That's fabulous. So if you would like to pick up that music, where can they go to do that, Jesse?
Well, it should be on all streaming sites at this point in time. Spotify, Google Play, iTunes, pretty well everywhere. I will be honest in saying that a lot of it, like, because they're listed as singles right now, it will be torn down in time for the full release of the LP, Tales Around the BurnBarrel LP next year. And then you can go check out the full album and all the new songs I've got coming out. Actually ended up writing a new one yesterday. I told my buddy Noah to come over and, hey, let's do a cover song and just put some verses over it, make a little Insta video, and then we ended up writing a whole new song. That's also we're gonna record because it was a lot of fun. It was a great tune. So, but yeah, my Instagram, Instagram, Facebook, like those are the things I'm really pushing through right now. So you can follow me on either Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, wherever. Jesse Patrick Music, you will pretty well find me, and I'm pretty good about answering the messages, and that's for, you know, if you just want a general chat, bookings, and anything, collaborations, whatever your heart's desire. I'm pretty good at getting back to people and being as much of a personality as possible.
Awesome. Well, I know you're very active on social media, and that's fantastic. And guys, go check Jesse out. Go support Jesse as a local artist, whether he's local to you in person or online. Go support artists. You know, artists of all kind, whether you're an author, whether you are a musician, whether you're a painter, whatever you are. You know, Jesse, a couple of weeks ago, I popped into a local Chapters. I wanted to pick up a journal for my daughter. And I walked in the door. There was a young man, and I'm saying he's probably late 20s, was kind of off to the side of a big display. And he very politely said, could I share my book with you? And, you know, I was in a hurry. I was supposed to be somewhere. And I was just like, yes, like it has to be a yes. The fact that he wrote a book and he's standing in Chapters asking ever so politely, and I'm just thinking anybody that has the nerve to step up and the guts to step up and do this, you have to say yes. And you know, it was interesting. I went over. I had the fabulous conversation with this young man. He is, you know, from another country. He wrote this amazing, inspiring book. And it was just such a fabulous moment in my day. It was really an inspired choice on my part. And I got to make a connection with someone like we're all making with you tonight, where if we don't take the time to slow down and be present, we miss the real diamonds in our days.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And I mean, especially when you're first trying, you know, it's easy for the people that have already made it to establish their bases and meet new people, you know, like it's already done for them. But when you're first starting out, especially like as an artist of any kind, you know, you're selling yourself more than you're selling your music. Like when I'm booking shows, like I go to the bars, like I meet the owners, I meet the managers, and I sell me, you know. If they like me, they're gonna like what I'm putting out, you know, like 9 times out of 10, right? There's not
Right.
That's a big part of it. Like you're selling yourself. Like the day that you realize that you're a prostitute as an artist is the day that you'll start getting somewhere.
Well, there you go. You heard it. You heard it here. All right, my friends. We are going to pop off to our next break. When we get back, we're going to ask Jesse some more questions. Please feel free to join us in the chat room. You can ask any questions or call in. And remember, go check him out, Jesse Patrick Music, Facebook, Instagram, and very soon, jessepatrickmusic.com will be his website. It'll be up very, very shortly. And you can check all of those links will be in the replay of this show as well. So stay tuned, everyone. You're listening to Inspired Choices tonight with an amazing guest, Jesse Patrick, and we're talking about Let the Pages Burn on the Inspired Choices Network. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices radio show with holographist coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you ready to have pleasure with your business? Yes, I said pleasure with your business. The Pleasure of Business a la carte will surprise you with topics like meet yourself in the boardroom, money, services, and you. Expand your visibility. The pleasure of communication. The pleasure of Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Christine McIver has so much pleasure with business and loves teaching all things business. Beginning a new business? Desiring to expand a current business? Or looking to resurrect a business that has been dormant? This program will get you fired up and bring more pleasure than you have ever imagined. Exhausted with your excuses for not creating a phenomenal business? Join now for all the pleasure with business. Pleasure of Business a la carte gives you total choice for what you desire and what your business requires. That's 24 weeks of different topics to choose from with weekly calls, audio and video recordings, and PDFs. This class will have you dive right in and use tools to create the business that has been speaking to you. Go to inspiredchoices.ca for full details or join the Facebook page, Pleasure of Business a la carte. Now is the time for you and your business.
This is Inspired Choices radio show with holographist coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine at inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
All right, everybody. Welcome back tonight. We're with Jesse Patrick. We're talking about Let the Pages Burn. Jesse, what does that mean? What does Let the Pages Burn mean to you?
Well, I guess it's a good time to get into this album that I'm writing. So Let the Pages Burn is going to be one of the title tracks off the album. It's kind of an interesting concept. As you plugged earlier, I've got an album that I'm currently recording called Tales Around the BurnBarrel right now, and it's basically about the turning point when I decided to leave Dartmouth and just get away from everything that I was around and everyone I was around. That I needed a break, and I needed to go find myself. And I'd just been arrested probably the 10th time in that year. And I got into some pretty serious trouble that time, and I was just not feeling good about myself. And like I said, I tend to hang out in the north end of Dartmouth quite a bit, which is known to be kind of an area that you don't want to be, you don't even want to be there late at night. But I got super drunk that night and just decided that I was going to go walking around, and whatever happened was going to happen that night. I don't know what I was looking for specifically, whether it was, to get jumped or beat up or to get in some kind of scuffle or who knows, or walk into a house and there'd be a party there, because Lord knows I've done that a few times. But I ended up in this back alley around literally just this fire barrel with a bunch of strangers that were just, talking. They clearly all knew each other and they're just talking about their life problems. And I just decided that I was going to bring myself into those conversations. And, sometimes it takes a stranger's perspective to really give you the truth, because, they don't know you. Your friends will tell you what they think you need to hear. A total stranger will tell you exactly, what they see, whether you're being a good person or you're being an idiot, or whether you're objective or subjective or whatever it is. So we ended up just talking all night about life's problems, and the next day I was planning my trip out of Nova Scotia. So Tales Around that song specifically, Let the Pages Burn, that I'm writing, is all about just that. Like, we all have chapters in our lives. The past has already been written, the present's being written, and the future is going to be written. You know what I mean? And the idea is to let the pages burn. You can't change your past, and you never will. Like, what's been written is written, but it's up to you kind of what comes next. So sometimes you gotta burn the pages and start over, and that's kind of what it's about.
Nice. I love it.
Hashtag
I love the idea of hashtag insightful. I love that. Sometimes it does take a few cocktails to have us get to the raw. I've absolutely heard lots of people who've had more than enough to drink that, drove me around the bend hearing them philosophize about things. But it's true. Sometimes you can get deep inside of what's really asking to be spoken to. And, what an amazing tale around the burn barrel. Like, who knew that Jesse needed to actually get to a burn barrel to create his very first solo album? How cool is that? That's amazing. So Jesse, you're working on the album. Where else can people find you in person?
Well, it seems I'm getting around and I travel a lot. I just was performing in Winnipeg a couple weeks ago, part of a rap battle event for Smoked Out Battles. Not in the US apparently. I'm traveling all over. I'm heading back to Nova Scotia on some personal matters for the next little bit, but I'm still going to be writing and recording. You'll see me playing all over, I'm sure, the East Coast pretty quickly. And then I got some shows in Bow Valley over the next couple weeks, which is Banff area. I'm playing at High Five June 29th, and I'm Medicine Hat this weekend performing at Alternative Ways Music Festival. And then I'm just gonna kind of be all over. The website's not launched yet, but it will be soon. And then you'll be able to kind of see everything that I'm doing and all the ridiculous shenanigans that I'm always up to.
Good, because we want some more amazing shows. So you need to keep up with the shenanigans. Just, stay away from the shenanigans that get you in trouble.
Absolutely. That's all I'm trying to do these days. And, I'll be back in the Bahamas in September. So they've got Sound Music Fest down there. So we're in the talks of getting me down there for that.
Nice. Do you ever come to Ontario, Jesse? Or do I just have to go to the Bahamas again to meet you in person?
I'm planning to do stuff in Ontario. I've got some artists out there that would love to do some collaborations, and some artists, some really old friends of mine, Kendra and Kings. You can find them everywhere as well. Amazing band. I believe they're based in Hamilton right now. I don't remember if it's London or Hamilton. Probably neither, knowing me.
Okay.
But I'd love to do some shows with them. And a lot of my friends are also part of the King of the Dot rap battles in Ontario, right? So I do frequent out to those and try and support that culture. It's not for everybody, but I've always enjoyed that savage, war of pens. Like it's really cool when you're rap battling, to be honest.
So, I'd love to see one of those.
You can find pretty well everywhere. It's a
That's
lot of fun.
awesome.
If you look up
King of the what?
Sorry. If you look up King of the Dot, they're based out of Toronto, but they are a worldwide battle rap league. You can watch all of it online. Some of it's really funny, some of it's really nasty. You got to really have thick skin to watch it, but it is. It's a different art. It's war. It's war with poetry. It's pretty cool.
Okay. Very, very cool. All right. Well, listen, we're getting close to the end of the show. If there's a young musician out there, someone who's just really looking to start to really get vulnerable and step out on the stage and reach out, what would you want them to know? What do you wish you'd have known before you actually started this part of your business?
Well, I mean, off the bat, like, don't be a pushover. I've had lots of venues promise, oh yeah, we're going to make sure that you're paid. And then, they'll offer you a Tuesday night and say, oh, we're giving you all this exposure. That's kind of how we pay you. We get your name out there. We help you elevate. Don't buy into that. Or like, there's a lot of people that put on these events where you're expected to sell all your own tickets, do all of your own promotion, bring all of your own people out, and they get a free show out of it. You know what I mean? And that's not always a good thing. I think both partners, like if you're playing a show and you're booking a show and both parties are equally invested, it always turns out into better shows for sure. And you get a better responsive crowd, to be honest. I actually just played a show recently. I'm not going to say where, but a lot of the bands, that were part of the show, they all left early, and with that, their followings left with them. So then by the time it was getting ready to headline, there was next to nobody left in the room, right? Don't buy into that. Venues will pay you with exposure. The right venues will put you on. Yeah, you're going to have to play your free shows, circulate your open mics, and build your name and your reputation. 100%. You have to put in the groundwork. But like once you're there, like don't sell yourself short. And just understand when you're on stage, every little thing that you do is noticed, whether you realize it, whether you trip on a water bottle and fall on stage or whatever it is, everything is noticed, right? And it's all how you react to it. So just understand that, image and perception of your audience is everything. If you can't control that, then it's going to be trouble. And that's a whole different skill set. So just make sure that that's always a skill set that you're working on as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really important. Whatever we're doing, wherever we are, whether we're visually in front of someone, we're creating something, we're on the radio, where people are perceiving us. Now, their perception may not always be true, but it can have an impact on us. So, yeah, putting your best foot forward and living authentically through what it is that you love changes everything. And I think that every time you're stepping forward and you're being like that, just how you are being right now, Jesse, things will get better. You will expand and grow, and the prosperity will follow you for sure.
Absolutely. And, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get there to, there's, it's at this point in time, I'm turning 30 in a couple weeks, and it's just like, if I'm going to do this, I'm not going to do it with a backup plan. I'm going to go for it, and at least if it doesn't work out, I can go out and say, it didn't work out, but at least I put everything into it. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people aren't willing to do that.
Fantastic.
Especially in the music industry. They have other jobs or whatever. And it's like, once you have a backup plan, you never fully invest in yourself.
Right. Well, Jesse, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for being here, sharing this music with us. We're going to have you back when that album launches. Everybody, go support this man. He's amazing. Take care, and we'll see you on the air.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Inspired Choices Radio Show. Christine McIver will return next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, be willing to choose what you really desire. This is your life, making the choices that bring you all that you